Respected Director Sir, all the faculty members, parents of the new incoming batch students, as well as all the students. It is indeed a real pleasure for me to be here. We as alums, we look for every opportunity to be back here. I have not been back to campus for a long time, so it was really an opportunity and a pleasure for me to be, part of the felicitation as well as the welcoming ceremony for the new batch for 2015. I sat there where you were sitting about 18 years ago, so I graduated in 99, so 97 was the year when I was sitting, on that side, wondering what to expect over the next 2 years. And, but looking back now, those 2 years as well as, the 15 or 16 years after that, it's been a fantastic journey for me. And it all, started here. It all started here. In addition to, having a career that largely was a result of IIM Bangalore, I actually, got married to one of my batchmates here and, built a life together with her. So, to a large extent, a lot of what I have, both personally as well as professionally, is it all started here. Now, so I was thinking about, I was talking to the sir and Vandana ma'am that, I was actually on vacation for the last couple of weeks, and I got about 3-4 days to think about what I wanted to say today. And, I really wanted to say something that I feel is relevant for you to practice in the 2 years you're here, right? I think there will be, you will learn a lot on how to behave and how to, as you enter into the professional world, how do you really sort of take yourself in that? But I would leave that to somebody who's talking to you on your graduation ceremony. Today, I want to just focus on, how, what I feel are some of the things that you should, focus on in the next 2 years. Some of them are sort of, high talk, but I actually say that with all my feelings, and I have actually experienced that myself. Now, before I get to that, let me just, run through a quick sort of introduction of my professional journey as well. Vandana ma'am spoke a bit about. I graduated from here in 99, joined a management consulting firm, Booz Allen Hamilton, in New York. I was there for 7 years, competing with the best of talent that the firm like Booz Allen gets from the best of US schools. Sort of cutting edge work, very, very competitive, working on Wall Street within the financial services domain. I made it to principal I think in about 2005. And after that, I wanted to come back to industry. I wanted to not be a consultant for life. I wanted to experience real industry. And since financial services was passion, and in 2006, a lot of stuff was happening in Asia, India as well. So I had this urge to actually come back to India and come back to Asia, and experience the energy here, experience the entrepreneurship that was budding here versus the developed world, where you do have large responsibilities, but the quantum of change that you experience in your job is far lesser than what you do in emerging markets, Asia, and more specifically India. So I moved to Asia, Singapore in 2006, joined Merrill Lynch, and I was the chief operating officer for their Asia businesses for about 4 years. And about 5 years ago, I finally sort of moved bag and baggage and moved to where the action was, which was India, city of Mumbai, amidst all the chaos, sacrificing, quality of life, but what we gained was, the energy, the sort of morphosis that the country is going through the entrepreneurial spirit that is there in country. And I have been very, very happy with every bit of the decisioning that I did moving back to India. So I moved back here about 5 years ago. For the last 5 years, I've been running the business here in India. And very recently, we actually sold our business to a Swiss private bank called Julius Baer. So I am the CEO designate for the firm, which the full transition will happen in about a week or two. So the firm will get converted into Julius Baer, and I would continue to run that firm. So that's a bit about the professional journey. Through this, by the virtue of being with Merrill Lynch, as well as by virtue of being in New York for a long time, I did get a ringside seat to the financial crisis that took place in the US, around the world, in 2007, 2008 time frame. So, those type of experiences you can never forget. I mean, those can really train you for, rest of life. Whatever life throws at you, you're able to deal with that if you have actually gone through the stressful experience of being there as the world sort of melts around you. And you can imagine working for Merrill Lynch, which was one of the firms that was affected and almost became bankrupt before being taken over by Bank of America. You go through these, highs and lows quite, in a short span of time, and that actually teaches a lot of life lessons for the future to come. So that's sort of quickly where I have been in the last 14, 15 years. In terms of what I want to say, I mean, there are 4 things that I could pick that I wanted to point out that may be relevant to you and may require you to give some thought to. The first one is this debate between, why are we here? I mean, are we here to get a job, or are we here to learn? And there is always this criticism at IIMs that, people tend to focus a bit too much on getting a job versus the learning aspect. And, I can tell you from my experience, you just, you should not get concerned about your career. Job is a natural outcome of going through the process, but the process that you have to go through is of learning. So while you are here for 2 years, you have to focus on learning. A lot of you are engineers. I am an engineer by background as well, and while going through the 4 years of engineering, we always wondered that, where are we going to apply a lot of the learnings that, when we were going through these classes. I mean, where are we really, going to, even if I was continuing to do a job of engineer, I would probably not have applied 95, 96% of what I learned in those 4 years. But I can assure you that whatever you are going to learn in the 2 years here, every bit of that you would apply in your professional career, especially if you're aspiring to be a general manager at some point in your career and running a business. Running a business has every aspect that would be touched upon here. So, pay attention to your case studies, focus on learning. Don't get too concerned about, just focusing on job. You're not here to just, at the end of it, get a job, get a good job, and launch into professional career. This is, a lifetime opportunity for you, the 2 years that you're going to spend. So use it wisely. So that's the first point. The second one is close to my heart as well, and that is around, in these 2 years, focus on networking, and networking is a bad word, and I'll come to that why. But focus on interaction with industry folks as well. I mean, here we spend a lot of time in classroom and we learn the concepts. But it is, the learning gets solidified when you actually start to apply some of those concepts, talking to people from industry. So spend some time, think about how you step up that interaction. You have these guest lectures from industry folks. A lot of time they are at 8:30, 9:30, in the evening, and you don't have energy left for making up to those classes. But do make an effort to not just get there, but also I would say interact with the person who's speaking. Take that interaction beyond that one guest lecture as well. Pass on contact. Maybe have a coffee, maybe have a lunch, talk about what they do in their real jobs, talk about, some of the concepts that you are learning, how they are applying in their current jobs, whatever that job may be. That job may be in finance, marketing, operations, does not matter. You will find relevance with what you are learning here. Now, all of that, and that's why I say the word networking to me is a bad word, because all of that you do with not a prospect of getting a job in that company, but to learn. Right, to learn, because that solidifies your learning, quite firmly. So network with industry folks, but not to get a job at that firm or to get an interview call, but to actually learn. And I can tell you, I'm very happy personally if somebody came to me and said, hey, here is today's economic times, and can you interpret the headlines today? What is happening in Greece and what is happening to Euro, and can you relate back to what I just learned in international finance course? And I would be very happy to do that. And we still leverage with a lot of that that we learned in the class. I could do that in the world of finance, but I'm sure there are other people who are very happy to do that in marketing and operations and many other functions as well. So make use of that opportunity. Don't while you have to focus on the curriculum, but just keep an eye on interacting with the industry as well. Institute will create ample opportunities. You will get, very soon you will be going for your summer internship interviews. You will end up in one of these organizations for summers. And I always say to my interns that, just raise your head above that cubicle. Just look at which company you're working for. You may be doing an operations project for Citibank, but just think about, what Citibank does, how they make money, what that company does. What is the basic economics of that? What are some of the other functions? Go and talk to people around and try to, build an image of what that company does in your mind. And next time when somebody asks you, what did you do in your summer or which company you worked for, talk about what the company did rather than what specific sort of project you did. So that's sort of the theme about just having a bit of industry interaction coupled with for learning purposes, not necessarily for with a view to get a job. Third one is, to me, competitive versus collaborative. So, we're all very competitive, otherwise we wouldn't be here. IIM Bangalore in general, sir spoke about the admission process, it's highly competitive. So, we get that. But I think the need now is for you to transform into collaborative. The business world is getting complex. Most of the complex problems don't have unidimensional answer. Most of them have multidimensional answers. And no one person can solve it. You need a collaborative effort to solve any big business problem. And you have to start that here. The groups will be formed, a lot of projects will be done. But again, think about collaborating in a way where you look at a problem, you break it into 4 parts, maybe 4 different people go look for 4 different answers for each of those, you put it together. That process, you got to start sort of repeating starting here, because that's the process. Once you learn of solving a problem, breaking it down and solving it collaboratively, again, whichever function you go to, whichever company you go and work for, will take you a long way, because that's what we do. That's what managers do. They solve complex problems. So be collaborative. There is no need to be competitive. Everybody is competitive in their own enough in their own mind. You don't have to, you're not going to be a success here by being competitive. You will be a success coming out of the school by being collaborative. And the last one is, of course, balancing studies with fun. It is going to be real hard work here. You will learn to live with, continuous deadlines and submissions, etc. And you have to do them. You have to do well in them. But that's not it. You're here, and you will see that. You will have a lot of fun as well. So don't ignore that aspect as well. Like people say, and you may not realize it today, but you will realize 2 years later or 10 years later that it is the best time for you as well as the worst time. When you're studying for that test tomorrow, it is the worst times. But then when you have fun, that's make it your best time here as well. From your today as well as your future professional career, you're going to be dealing with a lot of stress. So if you have a professional hobby, if you play a sport or if you play guitar, don't give up on it. Keep practicing it through these 2 years. You're going to need that as a stress buster. So the last thing I would say is, balance studies with a little bit of fun as well. And and you all will do okay. Don't be scared. I know it is a bit of a scary feeling right now sitting in this room thinking about the future, but let the process take its course. Enjoy the ride, and you all will do okay. My best wishes are with all of you. So best of luck for the next 2 years. Best of luck for for your rest of your life, career, both professional as well as personal. And I'm available anytime, anybody needs any advice or wants to talk about, I'm available. I extend my help. And I would probably speak on behalf of all the alumni that they would be as well. So, reach out to us if you have any concerns, questions, etc., that you want to talk through. But all the best.